Hey everyone, welcome back for another fantastic episode of the I can't even say it. Look, the Killer Comics Show. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. This really doesn't look like Not Quite Mint, but the phones have been going off the hook. My Instagram direct messages have been sensational, so I thought to bring him back by popular demand. It's the one and only Straight Outta Crampton. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, you don't have to say all of that. I know I can read people's faces and when they're telling the truth and when they're not. Look, at the end of the day, at school, I was used to being the substitute that was brought on right at the end. Brought on at 92 minutes and the game was 93 minutes long. I'm used to it. It's okay. I was the fat boy chosen last. So here I am.
This was kind of like, you know, when you're picking for a football team and it's kind of like, I'll have him. All right, I'll take Ben. But your mate is in. Captain Comics is in. So how you doing, the favourite pirate of YouTube? How you doing, mate? I hope you're all well.
Captain Comics is one of the very few Americans that I'm in touch with. And I believe that's because he works on the sea. So he's kind of halfway. You know, and we've met on his ship, and maybe one day I'll voyage over to the, to that side of the pond.
Well, I tell you what, I was working on Tuesday night, and I was meant to be on the Lame or Frame show with Roderican and Captain Comics and stuff like that, and unfortunately, I didn't get to make it. But tune into it because Captain Comics has an absolutely fantastic get-up. It's a cross between a pirate mermaid and Harley Quinn. So if that's your get-up, I know you like gothic.
Well, I was going to say that sounds like it would make me tingle in a few places.
Honestly, it makes you tingle more than the original source mint shower gel. Now, we all know how much that can tingle when it gets into the wrong places, but I'll tell you what, this gets your tingling-dingling in. Right. So anyway, we all know what we're here for. It was New Comic Book Day yesterday. Fantastic comics came out.
For some,
yeah, I know.
Have you heard about these issues?
Oh my God, like the deliveries and everything like that.
Oh, so can I just say, right? I went into so I've got quite a long speed walk, especially for a man of my stature, from my place of work to the comic book shop. So I did my speed walk. I'm dripping. And I got into Forbidden Planet, empty shelves, no delivery. I'm really loyal, so that's why I literally crossed the road and went to the other little independent comic book shop in Manchester. And they had them on the shelf. I was like, great, good times. And she went, no, we can't sell them. So apparently because of the shipping issue, there was some kind of like embargo on selling them. So I could see the comics that I wanted. They were there. I could smell them, and I couldn't take one. I was raging.
Oh my God, that's a bit of a joke. I think A Place in Space, they didn't even get their delivery because where they get the comics from, they got broken into.
Oh gosh! Right.
So they didn't get them. They was closed all day yesterday. They opened up today at 12 o'clock, and even then they only received, I think it was a third of what they was meant to. So I literally still only received half of what I did, but I think my wife's pretty happy about that because I did go there on Saturday and spunk 70 quid on comics.
Oh, you've got to control your spunk. God.
I've always been told about, controlling my spunk.
Well, I told you. I mean, the irony is I actually went into Forbidden Planet and still came out with a £13 on my receipt. I actually picked up an amazing discounted Alex Ross poster book. So I'm hoping to do like an Alex Ross tribute on my channel because I'm planning to get a lot of those timeless variants. So
he's killing it at the moment. He's killing it at the moment. I mean, and he's been doing them snapshots as well, like the Fantastic Four, the snapshot Spider-Man that came out this week. It's insane. Absolutely.
Cheers, Alex.
Nice one, Mr. Ross. So with the comics that did come out, obviously we're going to have to go digital this week. But I think if we just jump straight into Champions, Where are we going? Right, let's see if we can get this up.
They are the champions, my friend.
So
and
what was you?
Keep on fighting until they're outlawed.
Now this takes place after Outlaws, doesn't it?
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of jumping in a bit. Last time I read The Champions was literally that first volume, I think it was, when it was like her and Viv and Hulk and stuff. So yeah. I had some catching up to do, and I kind of didn't really get my head around the situation. So Kamala Khan has like started this almost like a basically it's like the Superhuman Registration Act, isn't it, but for underage superheroes.
It's the Kamala's
but then
law.
She's still a champion fighting against it. That's what confused me.
Yeah, I kind of was the same thing. So obviously she's created Kamala's law, but then on the flip side of that, it's kind of like a split personality type of thing. She's wanting one thing, but then on the flip side of that, she's kind of still an underage superhero trying to fight for what's right against the adults that still want to dictate to them. And it's kind of like, I was a really bit confused about that. I was like, how are you really fighting for something and then they're not?
Yeah, because was she a reluctant party in this Kamala Khan? Did they use her as a pawn in that whole thing? I don't know. If anyone wants to comment below and help us, because we're both confused cockneys and we don't know what's going on.
I mean, when I was reading it, it's kind of like, obviously this happens after the aftermath of Viv Vision's explosion.
My camera's a bit limp. Sorry. Happens to the best of us, but
it does. I've got some blue tablets I can send your way if you're struggling, Benjamin. So this happens after Viv Vision's outburst explosion in Coles. So this is all on the aftermath of that, which why the law has been put in. But I mean, overall, I thought it was quite an exciting read. It was kind of like a Young Justice type of Gotham University type of thing.
Yeah, that was a lot of things. I enjoyed it. I think the artwork was pretty kind of consistent. The only thing about this, because it was our E-wing, and I do think I am starting to get to the point where I think he's a bit hit and miss. I used to rave about him with the Immortal Hulk stuff, but there has been a few things that are a bit hit and miss. And for me, there was a lot of squabbling in this issue, like literally like 4 or 5 pages of just like kind
petty
of
fighting,
bickering. So I wasn't a massive fan of that, but I love the whole idea of Cradle. My camera has seen better days. What is going on? I'm so sorry.
Well, last week
usually embarrassing, and it just. But if my exes are watching, they know.
Well, last time it was my Wi-Fi. Now it's your limp camera. This relationship's doomed.
There was a lot of squabbling, but I love the Cradle thing. I think that's one of those things where someone in the writer's room went, hey, we should call it Cradle. And everyone's gone, great idea, Scott, or Gary, or whoever came up with the idea. I love that. So, yeah, it was good. It wasn't amazing. Was it enough for me to kind of feel like I want to jump back into the Champions as a constant weekly thing? I'm not really sure it was, to be honest. But we'll see how the story develops. I would have preferred this story maybe with like the Young Avengers, and if it followed maybe closer to the first Civil War, because for me there's so many links with the whole Cradle thing and Civil War storyline with the Sokovia Accords and stuff. So it would have been, the movie Sokovia Accords obviously different in the comics, but yeah. So I would have liked to have seen maybe a different team, because there's just too many characters I don't really care for. And
it's exactly that. I mean, I think if we get to obviously Spider-Man Miles Morales is kind of a focal point in this, but then when we get to like where he gets to his secret location, where he like meets Nova and Squirrel Girl and stuff like that, they all kind of just talk over each other, and you get kind of lost in translation. You're like, well, who's actually running the show? Who's doing it? Then they like all backtrack and go against Kamala Khan and stuff, and before you know it, a massive fight's kicking off, and I did enjoy it, but I think you're totally right. Is it going to be a comic that I'm going to be picking up week after week? Probably not.
No.
But hey ho, I mean, there's comics aren't for everyone, but you know, it is what it is. It's I would say if you're into like the younger generation of kids squabbling and fighting over page time, then this is definitely the comic for you. I mean, I don't really think the story's got enough substance to keep going, if I'm honest.
No, I actually think the premise is quite cool. And I think I was definitely disadvantaged by not reading, you know, what had gone before. So I think anyone who had read that would probably really enjoy this because they know kind of what the crack is. But yeah, I need to go back and do that because I think it would give me a new layer of appreciation. But it's worth picking up for the artwork alone. And if you're a, you know, Miss Marvel, Miles Morales, you know, Moon Girl fan, then definitely pick it up.
Oh yeah, definitely. So on that note, shall we do Transformers?
Shall we?
Shall we?
I'm going to say yes.
So Transformers, yeah? Let's do it. Right.
The Transformers Back to the Future.
Now this, I've got to be honest, I've bought both covers of this because Transformers and Back to the Future was my absolute go-to when I was growing up. I absolutely loved them, still love them now. And these two entities, I mean, Transformers have done quite a thing. I think it was Transformers versus Terminator. That was quite recent. So it just seems that they're jumping from entity to entity and just trying to grab anything from the 80s that they can.
Yeah, I mean, it is like one big 80s like party over at IDW, you know, because isn't it Turtles and I think they're Turtles and Transformers, yeah, as you say, Terminator, Transformers. It shouldn't work, but if you kind of go in a non-skeptical way, I think the payoff as an 80s child, you know, is great because I loved this. It really felt like a Saturday morning cartoon.
I mean, this note from Dr. Brown was just awesome.
That was cool.
It was just something that he would literally leave to Marty at the start of a trip or anything, and I thought this was really well done. Like the who's who, it's like a year scrapbook type of thing, and I thought this was great.
Yeah, no, it was good, and you know the style of kind of the artwork was very kind of cartoony in style, and the writing was fairly kind of. I'm just trying to. It wasn't basic because I don't think that's fair, but as I said, it all felt like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah,
you know, it felt like something that you could sit and read with your 10-year-old, you know.
Yeah.
But also, you know, the parent can enjoy it as well. So I loved it. Yeah, it just gave me lots of 80s member berries, and I enjoyed that.
I just love the fact, I mean, because I think at the moment there's only like 5 or 6 Transformers. You've got Bumblebee, Optimus Prime, Rumble, Ravage, Megatron, Soundwave, and obviously Starscream.
Can you move that along? We can't see it.
You can't see what?
The full page. See if you can get it across.
Yeah, right. There we go. Is that better?
Yeah. We get Doc Brown on this party.
Yeah, I mean,
Bumblebee. Do you know what was good though about that is that, you know, if they went too big with it in terms of there you go, that's better. If they went too big with it in terms of, you know, having a 20 Autobot roster, then it would have been too much. You know, this was kind of simple, and it was a lot of the key players, you know, other than I think it's Rumble, who I'm not too familiar with. You know, everyone else was kind of your standard Starscream and you know, Optimus and Bumblebee and stuff. So I really loved it. One of my highlights, and I don't know whether you've got it up there, was so basically spoiler warning, Bobs, but you know, Marty kind of comes back to what appears to be like a whole new reality, but again, I was a little bit confused because they kind of basically show the opening of Back to the Future. The opening of Back to the Future, where Marty initially escapes the terrorists and stuff.
Yeah, and the DeLorean.
But he's being watched by Decepticons. So I don't know whether that in itself was an alternative dimension.
Yeah, that's what I got confused about. I was like, are they watching this happen, or is this? Do you know? Is this already happened, or are they watching, planning? Yeah, I was kind of like confused about that because obviously it is exactly the same as the start.
I kind of took the whole thing. It was like a double alternative universe, if that makes sense. I don't know, but obviously when he comes back, basically Hill Valley is being kind of transformed into a Decepticon kind of I don't know, like war camp, I guess. And everyone's in these Decepticon jumpsuits, which I need. And one of my highlights was the I think they called him Coordinator Tannen. So that was Biff in Decepticon kind of gear. That was cool.
That was brilliant. And I just like the fact that they all kind of ties back to obviously Lion Estates, and you've got Rumble and Ravage chasing them through, and they find Doc Brown and Marty McFly, and then they're kind of like, I really like the fact that the Transformers still didn't want to be found out, and then obviously here comes Bumblebee in what it looks to be like a little Mini Cooper.
Yeah, it's the classic like Bumblebee. Was a Beetle in it, I think.
Yeah,
a Beetle. I'm not sure. Yeah, something like that. But it's a car, a yellow car. Yellow car. Did you ever used to play that?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like a British thing. So weird. But I used to punch my sisters really hard.
If Captain Comics is still in the chat, is that a British thing, or did you guys used to play it in the US? I mean, Captain Comics, you're only 24 years old, so you might not remember it. But if you do, let us know.
Mate, the left side of his moustache is 24 years old. He's not 24 years old. No. So basically, if you see a yellow car, you have to shout yellow car, and the last person to do that gets punched. It's like really brutal. So yeah, Bumblebee, yellow car, and then Anyway, I really enjoyed it. Another moment I loved as well was in that whole scene where we see Biff, but Starscream kind of does the classic Biff, like, "Hello, is anybody in there?"
Where is that? That is.
It's coming up. Yeah, a couple of
days.
So there's Coordinator Tannen.
Yeah.
And then I think we get the Starscream coming back, and I think it might be on the next page where he kind of taps on his head and does the whole Biff thing to Biff. So that was awesome. I mean, this whole thing was just.
Oh, there it is in the bottom right hand corner. He's going, think human, think. Hello, anybody home?
You just read it in that voice, don't you?
Yeah, you do. You can't help it.
Mate, honestly, I had such a big smile on my face after this comic, which doesn't happen often. So
it was so enjoyable. It was so enjoyable, and it was just like literally being a kid again and just enjoying. And I think the colours really did. Like the colours are really 80s. Like so that kind of all helped with everything. And I thought this part of the end was absolutely quality. Obviously, Marty gets his skateboard and he thinks it's Doc Brown, and
it's a Transformers and Back to the Future's fans' wet dream, isn't it? Seeing the DeLorean, turn into some kind of Autobot. It's something that everyone has fantasized about, and there's been custom figures made and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it was the same when they did the Ghostbusters crossover, and we got like an Ecto, in Transform.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great.
Rod has just dropped in and said, "There's my twin brother." So, hello, Rod. Thanks for dropping in. Yes, this is your better half. I will go with that.
We were both made in a factory.
I've got a new name that I haven't seen before, Lola J. So, hello to you. Hope you are doing good. Captain Comics, Slug Bug Yellow, Volkswagen Bug. I'm not sure if. I'm not sure if he's had
that's the car. That's
the Slug Bug. And then he's also asked a question as well. Do you guys think that Miss Marvel comics going up in price with the TV show announced?
They will. They will, when they have done. And I think to be honest, those comics have always shot up in price, but I think because of the cultural significance of, you know, Kamala Khan, like straight away, I think those comics became something that you know, collectors would want, and rightly so. I think they are really important, but it is a shame when, you know, like for me, for example, like my little girl's 3 months old. When she gets older, I want to kind of pick up comics like Miss Marvel #1 and show her, look, you know, anyone can you know, be a hero and stuff. And when the comics are so expensive, you know, it does make life a little bit harder. But no, I definitely think with the show being announced, I mean, we're seeing it with She-Hulk already as well. Yeah,
that's the thing. I mean, and going back to Al Ewing, I think with the She-Hulk, the Immortal She-Hulk, we spoke about that last time. That was a shit show, if I'm being honest. Like, it was not his best work. It really wasn't.
No, the one shot that we didn't even know was a one shot. That's how badly written it was. Anyway, the Sting makeup. Just weekends. Just weekends.
Weekends and Fridays.
Yeah.
Well, technically, there's
Sting makeup and knickers, just for a Saturday.
And knickers. Wow.
Or panties.
Or pantyhose. Pantyhose.
As Rod and Captain Comics might say. Right. What's next?
Let's go on to, shall we go on to Thor #8?
Yes.
Let's do Thor #8.
Please.
Now this, for me, I'm just going to try and get it up. I'm kind of struggling tonight getting it up. Not funny.
My camera, you.
And it's really hot in here. Right, there we go. So let's go fly a kite. Right, so... yes, there we go. So Thor #8 is coming at you right about now. So I love the cover, and I thought this was pretty cool because obviously the cover, that is Adam Aziz getting smashed by what looks like to be, is that one of the aliens from the War of the Realms? So one of Loki's conduits.
It looks like some kind of troll or something from one of those realms, but I mean, this doesn't actually happen, does it? So
no.
But it's cool, and I heard from Rich at Not Quite Mint that apparently this is part of a thing they're doing where there's like a diner cover once a year on in this week or something.
Oh, okay.
Not connecting or anything, but yeah, apparently that's like a little in joke that they're doing at Marvel. So there you go. If I'm wrong, then it's not me. It's Rich at Not Quite Mint. Lovely Chadwick Boseman tribute there. I
think it was really nice. And I like the fact that they're crossing. Obviously, he's a movie star, but I like the fact that Marvel have crossed it over into the comics.
Absolutely right.
You don't see that a lot. You don't really see that a lot, like movies and comics crossing over, unless there's certain furore around it. And obviously, this is a tragic loss. But it's kind of, are they doing it for a month, or is it?
I don't know. They could do it for a year. You know, for I'm concerned, you know, it's nice to, you know, have him tributed, and I think, you know, as the years go on, you know, comics and movies are so intrinsically linked now.
Yeah.
You know, I challenge anyone to kind of read a Black Panther comic and not have Chadwick's voice, you know, in your head now as you read those novels. So, that's nice fun. That
when I have to put my kids to bed and it's bedtime, I'm like, hey, Bombay. Just can't help it. Have to get them up there.
Good.
So this is obviously part 2 of 2, Hammerfall. The artist on this it's Aaron Kuda. Now I think this is the last one he's done, and then obviously we go back to I can't remember his name. I can't remember who's coming back after this, but it is. But it's
Donny Cates.
It's Donny Cates.
That's a name no one forgets.
No one forgets, honestly. And again, I think he's still smashing the ball out of the park with this. I really like the way that this is talking about all the gods before the immortal book,
It was cool. I was a bit worried because that initial page, you know, I thought, oh God, are we going to be going into some kind of intense, like, Asgardian, you know, history story? But it was only a few pages, and it's very kind of plainly told. You know, the point gets across very clearly and in a very kind of cathartic way, I think. But you know, at the end with the reveal that actually, you know, you can't see the pages until you're a god. So that was cool, and it's always nice to kind of know what happened before kind of Odin and Bor and things like that. So yeah, and then to kind of juxtapose everything back to Earth, and you know, it's all kicking off with the press and stuff. So I really enjoyed this. I don't think it was kind of a book that will go down in like key book history or anything like that. But it was really a lovely exploration of kind of Thor and Iron Man's relationship.
Yeah, definitely. And it was kind of like, I like the way it came to a head, because you kind of see Tony bow down to realize that you can't compete with an immortal god. And it was kind of good to see the back and forth of how their relationship actually transcends.
Oh yeah, you know, it's the power struggle, isn't it? You know, both, and that's kind of the classic thing with the Avengers always, is that, you know, individually they are all not necessarily gods, but godlike, you know, if not a god. And you know, it was interesting to kind of have that back and forth. But yeah, it was such, Donny Cates, you know, writes with such good humor, and he writes in such kind of believable manner. You know, these exchanges, if you'd done this scene 40 years ago or whatever, it would have been very, very melodramatic. The fight might have gone on for, you know, a few pages, but with this, it was, Tony was like, okay, no, you win. Like, you know, as soon as he kind of, you know, gets his eyes glowing and gives it a lightning show, you know, Tony was like, yeah, no deal.
He shit himself, didn't he? I mean, I thought this was quite good. It's like the little spoiled brat that's got his toy bag. It's like, I'm taking this home. This is my toy. I'm going home. And Thor's like, yeah, all right, mate, bring it. I kind of just really wanted him. I kind of really just wanted him to do what The Rock does and just go. That would have just been great.
No, that would be Black Adam. That would be Black Adam, mate.
Yeah.
I mean, the aura that Thor currently has, you know, being king now and things like that. And Tony comments on it, but I think that really came across as well. You know, that kind of calm, powerful exterior.
Yeah.
And so I just thought it felt like a nice palate cleanser. And I think this is kind of where Venom is at as well with Donny Cates. And I think the two are going to cross over. So I think they're both kind of at palate cleanser stage, like alternative realities probably not really going to account for much. And this story probably is not, you know, he's placing the seeds down the line. The only thing is, I would have loved like an Iron Thor type thing. So the hammer is obviously can be picked up by any old Tom, Dick and Harry right now. So I was desperate for like Tony to be like, what's it doing? What's it doing? And then him to kind of have this Asgardian kind of makeover. And because it is looking like basically the Thor hammer, you know, Mjolnir can be picked up by unworthy, you know, I don't know, but yeah.
I mean, because last year, Rio Anadito, he drew, I can't remember who he teamed up with, but he drew Iron Hammer. It was the Iron Hammer annual, and I think it came out towards the end of last year. And that was these two crossing over. If you haven't given that a read, make sure you do. It's pretty cool. It's about Tony Stark and how he became a god, and it's really cool because it kind of touches on demon in a bottle type of stuff where Tony's not drinking, but he's found in a bar. That was
this panel reminds me of the meme, the Batman slapping meme.
Yeah, where he slaps. Yeah, it was just slapping Robin.
But it was cool. It was such like a, you know, and then like Thor just kind of slowly was like,
he just turns around and goes,
"Bitch, please,
mate. Bitch, please. You can't even touch this chisel."
So yeah, I really enjoyed this. You know, I don't really have much else to say. I think it was nice. At the end with the you know, the character, what's his name? This lad in the
Adam Aziz.
Adam Aziz. He had a really nice kind of line about turning it on and off again, in terms of the broken hammer and stuff, and that was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool because obviously he's a mechanic, so he was like, you know, like if it doesn't ever break, you can just turn it on and off, or you can kind of just do what I do and hit it until they do. But I thought that was quite cool. I thought it was a good comic.
Nice. It was nice. That's how I would describe it.
Yes, it was nice. But then this, I'm not sure if you understand this. Is he looking? What is he looking to become? Because obviously he's looking at the.
Well, Donald Blake
is the.
Donald Blake was obviously, you know, back in the day when Thor would have that, you know, alter ego here on Earth or whatever, and he would hit his walking stick and he'd become Thor. Yeah. So I don't know whether he's kind of taken that whole thing about turning it off and on again or going back to basics. And there's clearly, you know, from the cover of the next issue, you know, we are going to see Donald Blake in some shape or form. So that'll be fun. I mean, that cover, that's a beautiful cover. That's really cool.
See, that's the one. See, artist Nick Klein returns to kick off a brand new arc. Now, this cover, it is, and obviously he's got the walking stick there. Thor's holding Mjolnir, and it does look very interesting.
I think people forget. I think because of the film's not addressing that in any way other than a name badge reference, you know, Easter egg. I think a lot of people were, I love Thor, and you're like, what about Donald Blake? They're like, who's Donald Blake? Well, you know, really, do you love Thor? Like, come on, man. It will be nice to kind of see that bit of history come back to the kind of forefront again.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and it's always good. Like, this was pretty short arc though; it was only two issues. So I think as you said, it was just a nice little nice little palette cleanser. Quick shout out to the chat. Hi, Ruben Guzman, Cowabunga fan.
He's all over the Cowabunga fan. I feel like he's like a turtle bot. Like there's is he a real person?
I hope so. I think he is. I hope so.
He's very nice. He watches my videos, but I just get worried that it's just a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle bot somewhere.
Ruben, Rod, are you putting on some rub, or are you saying yo Rube? But anyway, we're moving on thick and fast. Up next, we have obviously the one and only. Let's see if I can get this up. It was Batman 100. Now, for me, I fucking loved this issue.
Yeah. I did. It wasn't perfect.
No, far from it.
But I did love it. As I've loved this whole story arc.
There we go. Right. Yeah, I mean, I think there's about 6 or 7 covers that came out this week. Obviously, the flip side of this is the Joker to the left of Batman, and it kind of, in the background, it's got all that's happened, I think, throughout the Joker War, which was pretty nicely done, to be fair.
Hey, we love a wraparound.
Yes, we do. Wrap around, reach around. They're all the same thing, aren't they? Really.
That's what I was implying. I didn't know you were just going to say it outright, you dirty boy.
It is past the watershed, so.
This was cool.
Yes, it was. The Oracle. She is back.
I'd never really have been hyped by kind of, you know, the Oracle or Batgirl, and you know, I think I've spoken on either this channel or some other channels about how I'm not massively into the whole kind of Bat family thing, but I really felt like an excitement, like, Oracle, like, you know, the way it was so punchy. It was like, hey guys, like, and it was just so exciting. Like, I felt like she was like Zordon or something. You know, like rounding up the Rangers. Have I got that right?
Especially in this page where she's like, calling out to all of the Bat family, like, I'm back, this is what we're going to do. And then obviously your favourite character of the moment, we've got the Clown Hunter in the bottom corner. He's just so freaking cool, man. He is
my boy.
He is such a cool character.
He's an absolute lad. And
he is.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm going to skip to it because it does kind of sit separately to the story at the end as like a epilogue or whatever. But
let me get to it for you.
I really enjoyed this character. Like he's kind of come onto the scene and he's really captured my imagination.
Yeah.
And you know, I love the design. He's kind of, you know, punky and young and kind of, I love the idea that, you know, the Batman not killing is such a kind of, you know, potentially a kind of dated way of looking at crime fighting in some people's views. So I love that, you know, this kid has been through such kind of, you know, horrendous losses and he's just kind of snapped, but he's snapped in a way, this kid comes across so calm and cool. Like Batman is in his bedroom, he's just come back from school or whatever, he's like playing with his phone, Batman's in his bedroom, but he's not, he's like giving it the big one to him.
He's not starstruck at all. He's not starstruck at all, is he? He's just like,
he's not, and he's like, well, you've got your mask on, let me put mine on. It's great, and so he's called Bayotham, I think. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right.
Bayotham, and then what does Batman call himself? What is it? Is it Will something? And he's like, oh yeah, I like what you did. Oh, Dirk Wiggleton. Your name is Dirk Wiggleton. I mean, I just thought he was literally like, yeah, Batman, you might be in my room, but at the end of the day, I really don't give a shit. Like all the stuff that's gone on with my family, you rocking up in my room after everything, all the events of Gotham, isn't really going to change how I'm going to act. And this, he just looks wicked, doesn't he? He just looks like, it just means shit.
He's such a great character. And I think the interesting thing in terms of like Bruce Wayne is that 10 years ago, you know, Batman would have dragged him into Arkham without thinking twice or knocked him out or whatever. But here he kind of has this very kind of mentor-like, you know, speech to try and kind of appeal to his better nature. But the cool thing about Clown Hunter is he kind of says do on Batman and literally like, you know, as soon as Batman's left, he's like, well, I'm just going to crack on. Like, I'm not bothered. Like,
but do you know what I really thought was good? Do you know what I really thought was good is that you touched on the mentor type of thing. I think throughout this whole Joker War arc, Batman's grown and he's kind of, obviously he's lost his father figure. He's had to bury him again, but he's kind of like finally taken on parts of Alfred that Alfred's probably years and years and years of trying to do. He's kind of now, obviously he's a father figure too. You got Dick, you've got Robin, you've got Jason. He's obviously been a father figure to them. And now in these scenes, you kind of see him, you see Batman as if going like, seriously, this is your last chance. If you do it again, I will have to take drastic action. And
even to Harley, you know, even to Harley, I think it's such an interesting point. And I think even his relationship with Harley has become a lot more kind of nurturing. You know, obviously back in the day, just knock her out and drag her in. But so that's an interesting point. And, you know, maybe kind of where we see Bat going in the future, you know, more as he will be the father figure.
But this was just, I mean, I'm going to go back quickly to where you said about Harley, because I thought this was a really cool scene. Now, this is probably one of the few times you actually see Harley looking like Harleen other than before she transformed, and in the DC Black Label we see Harleen, Joker, Harley, Killer Smile and stuff. And I thought it was quite nice, the fact that she's gone back to being au naturel, and Batman, he gives us a sweet little smirk there. And I think she even realizes that they're building a relationship there. And I, for one, am constantly hoping that something happens between these two, because they've shared some amazing moments over the years, but obviously it's down to Selena Kyle. I'd love to see that.
No, it would. Do you know what? It would feel wrong. I do. I feel like he's more going to serve as a you know, fatherly figure for her. I don't know, but everyone touches each other in comics, don't they? So I'm sure happen eventually. I think Harley went through some it was really kind of character defining what happened with Harley in this story arc, and I think you've really seen now the hurt that Joker has caused her and the disdain that she has for him. You know, I think a lot of people were kind of like, oh, she's not over him. Like, there's hope for Joker and Harley yet, but no, you know, she.
Well, this was a defining part. Where she's like, it was
the ultimatum that she gives Batman, and it was such a cool kind of like, oh, you know, what's he going to do? And here's my biggest issue with Batman 100, and with every Joker story. I love the Joker. He's tattooed on my body, you know, for the rest of my life. But Joker stories, you know, the Joker's never just going to die. You know, it's never going to happen. So you never really feel that real jeopardy. Now, what would have been maybe more interesting is if we had other people involved in this game of Russian roulette.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. If it was one of the Bat family or something that was trapped in there as well, that would have been 10 times more drastic, because if Harley's running off not knowing that, I don't know, Nightwing or Robin is trapped in there, and it's a case, it's like race against time. You either let go of the Joker, you either catch Harley, or are you going to let down one of your Bat family again? I think that would have been a more drastic conclusion, instead of like, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to save the Joker. He's probably going to rock up and we're going to carry on in Batman 101.
Yeah, and ultimately, you know, that looks like where it's going now. You know, it's straight away, you know, before the book's even finished, it started the new, you know, story as such. And he'll, you know, Joker's clearly going to have a kind of newish look with, you know, I don't know, maybe Captain Comics could lend him an eye patch or something.
Maybe. I did like this grab here, though. It's basically like an eye for an eye. I thought that was pretty cool.
So I mean the artwork in this whole run has been absolutely stunning, and the writing has been on point.
Look at this. This is insane.
Been sublime. Yeah. That's just, it's full of such drama, and the lighting, and
I know. But then obviously this is a first appearance of the Ghost Maker. No. I don't know.
You know, I for me, I don't know, it looks very kind of futuristic, and it's kind of got his big white cape, which is quite camp. It's odd, really. I don't know. It feels like it doesn't fit into that kind of Gotham.
Who do you think this could be? Because obviously he's like, oh, Bruce, what a mess you've made. Our teachers would be ashamed of you. Now, do you think he was trained with Ra's al Ghul and he's part of that? Or
it's a very strong hint to the League of Shadows, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, I feel like that would be too obvious. I don't know. I really don't know.
I'm just trying to get to the punchline thing before we end the show, but I mean, oh, here it is. Again, I thought this was quite good. Obviously, you see Harley Quinn as Au Naturel, and then you see the natural punchline, giving it all for. Now, do you believe this? What she's saying?
Well, no, I think that's what the Joker was saying, wasn't it? You know, she's you know, I think he says something like, "Oh, she's good," you know, and so
she's very good. That's it, yeah.
Yeah, and for me, it's great because I think Harley Quinn as Joker's, you know, number 2, so to speak, she was quite vulnerable a lot of the time in a few storylines, and even to the extent that her origins were quite kind of, there was a lot of vulnerability to her. Whereas Punchline, you know, her kind of manipulation, it wasn't even. Wow.
You're gonna pump her.
I read it. We all read it. So that made me lost my train of thought. So I think Punchline is very different. You know, I think she was very conscious in how she kind of got into the thing with Joker. You know, she wanted that. Harley kind of was manipulated into it, where she wanted it. And you know, this whole thing, she's clearly very cunning and conniving. You know, Harley, when she was Harley, she was very silly. you know, silly with a lot of stuff, and her personality is a lot more fun, whereas Punchline is a lot more kind of conniving and potentially more dangerous. And I really am looking forward to her solo run. I think it's is it Inuyuk, the artist
in Hayek
Lee has the nicest variant for Punchline #1. I'm desperate for it. So yeah, I mean, you know, Batman just is just so consistently brilliant. And yes, do I think this storyline kind of lacked any real big game-changing consequences? Yes.
Yeah.
But it was still brilliant.
It was.
I'm going to be there for 101. I'm going to be there for Punchline 1. I'm going to be there for the Clown Hunter solo series when it comes.
Yeah, of course you will. You'll have front row tickets for that one.
I want a poster of him. I want to work on a cosplay, but I'm a fat 31-year-old man rather than a you know.
But you could
15-year-old boy.
10 years after Joker War, the Clown Hunter, we thought he was gone forever, but he rocked up.
Instead, he's let himself go.
Exactly.
Got a mortgage. Yeah.
But Ben, honestly, I just want to say a massive thank you for jumping in at the last moment. You have saved by Crampton again. This has got to take off, isn't it? And I've just noticed you've got a Rick and Morty hoodie on, which is absolutely freaking awesome, mate. So honestly, thank you so much for jumping in at the last moment. It definitely went better. It definitely went better. Ooh-wee. It definitely went better this time round. Apart from my Wi-Fi was last time. This time was your limp camera, but we sorted it out. We got it sorted.
It got there in the end, and that's what matters, girls.
Firehawk has just said, first DC I ever bought was the first 3 Jokers. Now, all I can just say to you for that is, please read A Killing Joke as well, because I think
I could. Firehawk, I'm going to send over about 20 comics that you need to read.
Yes.
Before I go, Geeky Guy, I want to plug my channel because
go for it, mate.
It's going off, pal.
Go for it. Here we go.
Oh, okay. It's Halloween month straight out Crampton, and basically every Thursday and Friday at 5 p.m. GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, I will be posting various different Halloween spooky videos. So that's everything from chats with horror fans all the way through to creepy collectible reviews, and even a mystery box as well might be happening, rumor has it. So please find me on Straight Out Crampton, subscribe, and I will see you. I've got a video tomorrow at 5 p.m.
That is great. So what I'm going to do, I'm literally just going to drop the link.
Drop the link. Drop it.
To your channel. I mean, you're an administrator, so you could have probably done it yourself, mate.
No, please don't overestimate me.
I'm just trying to get you off the screen now. Oh no! I just removed him. I didn't mean to do that, mate. But yes, so please check out his channel. It is absolutely amazing. Honestly, it's wicked. There's something for everyone there. The cosplay is probably one of the best out there at the moment on YouTube, on Instagram. There's something for everyone. Lex Luthor, you've got Bray Wyatt, you've got everyone. So if you haven't checked him out already, have you been living under a rock?
The video tomorrow is around Bray Wyatt. That's all I'm saying.
That's one of your best popular videos, wasn't it?
Yeah. So obviously I'm going to do a follow-up because I'm desperate.
Why wouldn't you do that? But no. But Ben, thank you so much for coming on. I will chat to you over the next few days, and it's always a pleasure having you on. And I look forward to the next time because it's always fun. We will sort out the Wi-Fi. We will sort out the Limp Biscuit camera. And as always, guys, if I don't see you for a week, I'll see you through the Geeky Guy window.